Hello, friends. I forgot to turn on my camera. Give me a second. Hello. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to the second stream today, where we will be continuing our work on Entropy chat. This is my pixel house. This is the Denver skyline. You're here. I'm here. We're all here. Welcome, everyone. First of all, if you're new here, I will tell you how things work. You can see all these emotes falling from the sky. This is the drop game. So in the chat, you can type !drop followed by an emote or an emoji, or you can do drop me just like VV Michael did, and that will drop your avatar. Where's my avatar? There's my avatar. And if you're... Oh, yeah, we have an explanation for the drop game. I totally forgot. Define drop. Thank you, Imphy. And if you land in the garden, just like Pete did, you'll grow a seedling, which is very nice. I removed the leaderboard just because I didn't have any more space on my screen to put it. But yeah. Hello, SimSim. I'm doing good. The other thing is, if you can see in my chat overlay that some people have a country flag or a badge. And here is all the information you need to know about that. So you can set your country, you can set your flag, and that will appear in my overlay. And I guess what's the other thing? You can also set a status. I'll set mine. Set status. Working on Entropy app. Again. That's fine. Multiple A's. And if you set a status, it's going to appear at the bottom of your message. And you can see that I'm on Team Discord, and I'm from the United States. Cool. So I think that's mainly what we need to know. Well, thank you, Epic Smiley. I appreciate you. Oh, yeah. What's this LED thing? There's also the LED command, which you can run. So these are 8 LEDs. Each one represents a bit. A bit is either 0 or 1. And right now, I think all of them are on except for 1. But what you can do is !LED followed by 8 bits, just like Coder and Black did. And then the corresponding... Oh, no, it's not running. Never mind. Give me a second. I have to start it up. Hello, Mike Brown Pelican. Okay, now. Okay, so now the Arduino is listening for chat commands. So there we go. Column just turned on all the bits, or you see the student doctor just turned on, or somebody turned on half the bits. So SimSim turned on half the bits, and the student doctor turned on 2 bits. Cool. So you can do that, and that will adjust the LED screen. Cool. The delay is it should technically be instant, but the reason there's a delay is because there's a backend server that's listening for Twitch chat messages, then it receives that message, and then it sends a signal to the Arduino, and then the Arduino sends a signal to that. I mean, there's like a second or 2 delay. Cool. We got some follows. Thank you to all the new followers. Thank you to Demon Player. Thanks for being here. And Felipe, thanks for being here. And Arpit, thank you for that follow as well. And Parzival, I saw you in the Live Coders chat. And we got a hydrate. Smiley, thank you for the hydrate. And thank you for the stretch, Samuel. We're just getting started. There's that. Mike Brown says, I really appreciate the interactivity. Oh, you're very welcome. I mean, I think that's what makes it fun, right? Because if it's just me talking at you, then... I mean, I guess that could be fun if I was entertaining. I don't know how entertaining I actually am. But yeah, I like it to be interactive. Cool. Like I mentioned, we were already streaming. The breadboard is literally right here. It's on my table. First time you heard your name on stream. Well, nice. I'm glad I could be the one to say it. I mean, I think so. I'm familiar with Ready Player One. Like, I listened to the audiobook. And Parzival was... Wait. Who was... I forget who Parzival even was. Is that what it's from, or is this a totally different Parzival? I know Parzival has a different different reference. Like, there's a Parzival in like a game or a book or something like that too. Okay, regardless. What we're working on today is Entropy Chat, and thank you, Dread. Thank you for that follow. This is a Discord clone that we started building here on stream. If you do !Entropy, you can get a link to this GitHub repo. There is a landing page, which right now doesn't actually work. Smiley, thank you for that host. Yeah, the landing page is just a landing page. Oh, nice. That's good to hear. Flex. Wait, what? And what we're working on today is adding multiple servers. And we haven't gotten too far. We actually wrote some code, but we haven't gotten too far. And this is the app that we're working on. So we have this Electron app, which is a desktop app. And you can log in with GitHub. Here, I'll log out so you can see me logging in. I'll log in with GitHub. And then in a second, hopefully, yeah, I get logged in. And then I can send messages. But right now it's pretty boring because it's just me. But what we're doing now is and right now we just have one stream of messages, but we're going to make it so that messages are grouped into channels and channels are grouped into servers. And we're using Feathers.js for the backend. So a lot of the last stream was me kind of diving into like, what is Feathers? What are hooks? How are we doing all of this stuff? So if you're just joining us, we're kind of like deep in the code right now. Cool. And that's basically where we're at right now. So we were setting up some hooks in our backend where we wanted to prevent our user. We wanted to prevent people from creating new users just by hitting the API, because the only way to create a user is by going through GitHub login. So we were going to create this custom hook called internal only that would prevent users from making a post request to /users to just create all the users that they want. So that's the plan. Blue screen. Can I self-bot it when it's done? Like create a bot for it? Sure, yeah. And thank you for that stretch, Cybergenic. Much appreciated. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to implement my own hook. And then because the thing is, there are so many hooks in Feathers Hooks Common. And we were just looking at that a second ago. Wait, do I have it open? I have it open, yeah. There are a ton of built-in hooks, and I have not familiarized myself with all of them. So up until now, I've actually just written a bunch of my own hooks. But what we were looking at is there's this disallow hook that's built in that we're probably going to use instead. But I do want to write my own hook. That's what we're going to do. We have a follow. Who's the follower? Julian. Thank you, Julian, for that follow. And let's say hi to everyone, because we also missed that. So if you would like me to acknowledge you, just say hi, hey, hello, morning or afternoon, and then we'll get right into it. We'll get directly into the code. Well, that did not mean to happen. Fifi Michael with a $2 donation. Thanks for your super entertaining code stream. Well, thank you for being here, and thanks for that donation. I appreciate you. Cool. We're starting right here. Hello, the She-Boss. Welcome. And Coder in Black, and Monoloito, and Column, and Gazija. How's it going? And Christopher, and DS Legends. Hello. Yeah, the Sheepa says, I clicked the volume button on the overlay thinking it was my volume button. Yeah, I have a fake YouTube player thing. Yes, I did read that part as well. Hello. And what's up, Smiley and Samuel and Colum and Catherine. Hello, Catherine. And Ahmed and Z2. How's it going? Christopher says, I think I landed on every spot except the hill. Except the garden. Yeah. Something's up with my screen. Let me fix that. Wait, that's over here. No. Down there. Why is that happening? What's that coming from? Oh no! There we go. That's better. And what's up, MVKR? How's it going? And Spurfox. And Kulki. Welcome. Hello, Sim. I'm doing good. And hello, Halid. And Mike Brown Pelican. What's up? Shot between 570 and Seedling Tree. I don't know what that is in reference to. And hello, Julian. We're from France. Welcome to the stream for the first time. Thanks for being here. What's up, Callum and Spearfox and DMC? How's it going? And Smiley and WBW, welcome back. And Spioni, hello. Glad I stumbled upon this stream. I'm gonna try to pay attention. Well, like I appreciate you for being here. But like I said, we're deep in the code. I will try to answer Wasting energy by turning on all the LEDs. I attempt to answer every question that comes through the chat if I see it. There's usually a lot of chats. So feel free to ask anything. But I will say and preface that we're deep in the code. So it could be a little, what's the word? Disconcerting? Disassociating? Confusing. Confusing is the easy word to say. Gorat, thank you for that follow. Setstat, yeah, it doesn't work with emotes. I need to fix that for sure. And Adrenaline is saying, have I ever considered using Python for the backend? I have. I just really like JavaScript. JavaScript is great. This is actually an IKEA chair. I forget what it's called, but it is from IKEA. It's just a green version. They don't sell it anymore. Oh, well, I try my best. Blue screen error. Oh, thank you, DS Legends, for that focus mode. We'll do that right now. How much code is actually going to be written? I don't know. Yeah, LEDs don't consume that much energy. All right. We got more follows? Hey, everybody. Thank you for that follow, Mike Brown Pelican. And Technique Trading. And Yaiba? Yabiba? Yaiba. And there's a bug in my overlay where it says, yeah, that's the one. It's the IKEA Marcus, but they don't make the green version anymore. Yeah, it's the official coding garden chair. And it's always funny because like people are like, how do you have a green chair with a green screen? I actually have a blue screen. Like this is actually what's going on. And even this, let me see if I can. Well, I mean, there's that. Let me look. Oh, the thing over there came back. Dang it. I think I can do this. Yeah, so this is really what's happening. there's literally a blue screen behind me. But we'll do that. It's chroma keyed out, and then I don't know where that's coming from. We need to fix that. Let me fix that. And then we'll start coding. I can't see it on there. Oh, I can't see it on here too. Oh, is it covered by the drop game? That might be it. We'll leave it. A blue piece of cloth. Yeah, you're right. We need terms of service now. I can't wait for the stream to become a coding stream. You're not the only one. Yeah, all right. It is a shadow of some kind, but I can't really see it. It's fine. Let's start coding. Yeah, we definitely need a terms of service, but I want to write some code. And terms of services, while important, terms of services are important, but it's not code. So let's write some code. And what we're working on, and what I kind of need to do is I need to spin up like Insomnia. So we're going to make some requests to our backend. Yeah. So right now, this is the backend endpoint, localhost 3030/messages. If I make a GET request there, you'll see right now that it's complaining that I must be logged in, and the JWT, the JSON Web Token, is expired. And if we look at the bearer token, there it is. So this is an expired token. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the DevTools here in the Electron app, and I'm just going to grab my token from there because there's login with GitHub. And so this token is what I need to be able to make requests. So if I put my token there, and then we send the request, there we go. And don't worry, that token is only local, and it doesn't have any secret info. Here, I'll show you the whole token for those of you that are freaking out. Like, you showing his token on stream? No, it's just a JSON Web Token generated by my backend that only works locally. And if we look at what's inside, it's just the user ID. Here, JTI. So this is the ID of the user in Mongo database. But yeah, that's the token. So I'm making requests. What we were going to check, though, is if I make a post request to users, this actually works. And we don't want this to work because users should only be created through the GitHub OAuth flow. So if I try to make a post request to users, and if we look at our users model, we can see users model that a user needs these properties: GitHub ID, name, GitHub username, and image. And actually, the only required one is GitHub ID. So technically, because of the way my API is written right now, GitHub ID I could just do this. I could make a post request to users with some random GitHub ID, and I think this is actually going to work. Yeah, it actually worked. We don't want this to work. We don't want people to make post requests to /users and just create random users. We should only be able to create users internally when the OAuth flow happens. So yeah, this is very lame, and we want to fix that. But what we did was we created a custom hook, and then we had a console log whenever that request came through. So this is the context object as a random GitHub user. So I forgot to mention the drop game has a 90-second timeout. So if you do a drop, you have to wait 90 seconds before you can drop again. Okay, so this big old object that got logged here is the context that we logged in this internal only custom hook. So we talked about hooks earlier, but basically for all of the different service methods, you can create custom functions that will run when they happen. And so right now, we're working on a custom function that gets called whenever we attempt to create a user. And if we take a look at this internal only hook, right now we're just logging the context. But really what we're about to do is we're going to determine if this is an internal request, we're going to allow it. Otherwise, we're going to send an unauthorized request. And the property I think we're looking for is provider. Because provider says whether it was like a REST request or a socket request. In this case, it was REST. Yeah, so params.provider. And that is set to REST because I made the request in Insomnia, which makes an HTTP request. But it's also possible to make a request over sockets, and in that case, the provider would have been probably socket.io. But our hook function is very simple. We'll say if context.params.provider, if there is no provider, then keep doing what you're doing. Just continue on. This is kind of like calling the next function in Express middlewares. Otherwise, we're just going to throw an error. Unauthorized. Just like that. And what this will do is the hook will check to see, does this request have a provider on it? If it doesn't, then that means it's an internal request, like internally the OAuth flow completed and it's creating or updating a user. Otherwise, it returns unauthorized. Oh, that's a good drop, Mike Brown Pelican. Good job. Okay, and this is literally all we need. And so we've already registered that hook right here in create. So before create is allowed to happen, the request runs through that hook, and it should error now. So now if I send a post request here with GitHub ID 12, that's GitHub ID, unauthorized. Technically, it has the wrong status code. So I could update that. But this hook, this custom hook that I wrote, is wait, what's not working? The drop game? The drop game has a 90-second timeout. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Is it impossible to bypass that check? Yes. So, I mean, the way that Feathers is set up is I have a service that's the user service, and all of these hooks here will get called before each of these service methods get invoked. The only way to bypass it is if I write code internally that potentially like accesses the database directly, or because of the way I wrote this hook, I could actually internally, I could say in some other hook, I could say context.app.service users.create. And so because I'm just writing this code inside of the app, this means that there's no provider associated with it. It's not a REST request, it's not a socket request, and so this would actually succeed. Yeah, we're back, Mint Jim. Welcome. RPC-JSON. It's possible. I haven't really worked with RPC-JSON. We're using this library called Feathers, which does most of the work for us. Check out feathers.js.com. And so ultimately, it exposes our services as a RESTful API and also as a WebSocket API. But you probably could... I'm not familiar with RPC-JSON, but what we mentioned earlier is services are exposed over a certain protocol. So if that is a protocol, you could potentially expose a service over RPC-JSON. Yeah. All right. That worked. But what we mentioned was there is this built-in hook It saved me last semester. Oh, nice. There is this hook which will work in a similar way, but I don't have to write my own code. And I think we're going to use this. So I'm going to install that. But also, somebody mentioned the status code. No, they mentioned 418 status code, didn't they? That's I'm a teapot. Oh, that's nice. Looking good. Oh, thank you, Barkoga. Much appreciated. Do I have any material for newbies in JS? Yeah. I would say, okay, if you go to coding.garden/videos, these are all of my live streams uploaded to YouTube. And if you filter by higher order functions, this is good for beginners. So these were a stream that I used to do called Newbie Tuesdays, where I paired with a total noob coder. And he would ask questions. I would have exercises for him and help him if he needed it. My beard's like very scraggly today. So you can check out those 3 episodes. Technically, they are talking about higher order methods, which are like map, filter, reduce. Those are a little bit more advanced for beginners, but like the whole point of like this very first episode is talking about like functions in general and how in JavaScript functions are first-class citizens, meaning they can be passed around like values. So this is like a good introduction to functions, and then you can learn a little bit about the other stuff too. And thank you, CompSci, for that follow. Drop is totally random. Yeah. Thank you, Rudo, for that follow as well. Codefu Masterbeard. Yeah, no worries. What did I want to do? Oh yeah, I kind of want to set up a so here's the thing. Right now it's responding with a 500 status code. I want to fix that. This should be a 401 error. Yeah. Like you are probably a 403 because you are not allowed to create users. That lurker, thank you for the follow. The best service to host an email service. I mean, any VPS, you could do that. Oh, this is a great question, Dumail, because I do this at work. Yeah, because you can see right now all of our services by default are just the service name, and typically in the real world you want to like version your APIs, and the way you do that is actually described, I think, in the Feathers cookbook. But I do this at work, so all of my services are prefixed with API v1. I also have like a pluralizer that will automatically pluralize the service name if it needs to be. But if we take a look at the cookbook, I think it's in here. Prefix. If it's not in the cookbook, there's a really good article about it. Yeah, Feathers.js in production. Configuration, API prefixing, logging, and error catching. This is an amazing article that tells you exactly how to do that. And basically, you can see in the actual code where the services are registered, that's in each of these service files. So if you look at the user service, right here is how it gets registered. So it's app.use/users. Technically, what you would do is like API v1, like that. But instead of just writing it in line like that, you could create a helper function that you reuse in all of the services. So that way it always has the latest prefix. Yeah, check out this article. It's really good. For ours, I think I'm going to leave it. I don't think we need a prefix. I think it's fine with a prefix, without a prefix. And thank you, Lucidity. That's a nice name. Thanks for being here. Feathers errors method not allowed. Amazing. There's so many things. So the thing is, I've been using Feathers a lot, but there's just a lot I don't know about the ecosystem itself. And do I have to install that separately? Let's take a look. Or is it just in the Feathers.js package? Yeah, common error types. Published 2 months ago. Let's do it. Let's get it. I don't know if it comes default with... Let me see if it comes by default with the generated app. Package JSON. Oh, it's already in there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Unauthorized. Oh, that's me. I did that. I did this. I can fix that. Is that how you do unauthorized? Thank you, Baraki, for that follow. I think we're going to do 403. That makes sense. And Wizwozy, thank you for that follow. And hello, Cat and Jack. How's it going? Yeah, very welcome. Yeah, no worries. Kava, hello. Evil Teleportus, welcome back. Beautiful. Wait, is this what you expect, Majestic Eye? Or is that Infi? No, Infi, sorry. I always confuse Infi and Majestic Eye. I'm sorry. Is this what you expect? No hyphen? Your usage of unauthorized is unauthorized. And Azro, thank you for that follow. Yeah, so we're using Feathers, and it exposes these services over Socket.io. So we are using WebSockets. Okay. We need to get errors from @Feathers.js/errors. Do I get any autocomplete errors? Maybe we'll get some autocomplete with the destructuring. Not authorized. Too many R's. Oh, too many R's. Errors. My R key is like really stuck on my keyboard. What's up, John? Yeah, here we go. Not allowed. Method not allowed? No, I mean technically it's not authenticated. Cool. So if I do that now, status code 401. Sweet. Is teapot an error? That'd be really funny if it is. No, there's too many requests. I don't know if you hear that, but there's somebody with some very loud bass driving by my house. What do I set JWT for server API in .env? You can set it to whatever you want. I'll show you my .env. That was the wrong thing. If you give me a second. Sorry, oh, no worries, Alka. Just turn your bass down. Be a good neighbor. When you have your music really loud, you're not being a good neighbor. Okay. What is this? .env. Yeah, I'll show you this much of it. Back it up, everyone. Did the stream stop? No, the stream did not stop. I have zero packet loss. What are you talking about? All right, so this is my .env file. I'll explain what each of these values are real quick. How do I get into making apps? You kind of just start. I think like building basic front-end websites is a good place to start. And then from there, and when you're building basic front-end websites, you can talk to existing APIs like the Twitch API or any other API. There's a lot more examples. I just can't think of them. But you build the front end, but you use some existing API. And using existing APIs is going to give you a feel for how you might create your own. And then from there, you can start creating your own back end APIs and get involved with databases and stuff like that. No, okay. Don't be that guy that thinks everyone wants to hear you playing High School Musical in your car. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think this is broken. When I was a teen, I had my bass going in my car. An older person pulled up next to me. I turned it down. An old joke. The old man said, "Why'd you turn it down?" That's funny. And thank you, JSR. Thank you for that follow. And Ivan, thank you for the follow as well. And Naptakar, thank you too. This is a desktop app, yeah, but it can be used on the web as well. That's the nice thing about Electron. We're building the front end with Vue, and that same Vue thing can load inside of Electron or it can load on the web as well. Beginners don't know what an API is. That's true, but you can learn. You definitely can learn. Is it possible that Doctor redirects the way we require the .env file? Yes, I'll talk about that in just a sec. We're gonna talk all about the envs right now. Oh, nice. That's good, Parzival. Let me see. Are there any here? Oh, there's one. Thank you for that posture check, Epic Smiley. But there's one. Oh, I know why. Because it's over here. We have a focus mode. We'll turn on the focus mode in just a second. Hello, Deharka. Welcome, welcome. I made 2 people mad today playing some tech death metal. Unit tests are great. I like unit tests. Those are my thoughts. I can make my own 418. Require Feathers error, extend it, and then set the custom status code. Yeah. Any way to have an Electron app not take up huge RAM? Not really. I mean, Electron just embeds Chromium, so there's not much you can do about that. Nice. Thank you for that hydrate. Oh yeah, no worries. I will research. But yeah, no worries. Thank you for being here, Wookie Dancer. Okay, we're talking about ENVs. I am drinking a citrus and green tea sparkling water. The JWT secret can be anything you want. Typically, you in like example apps, you see people set it to something like keyboard cat. And that's fine, but this is not secure because keyboard cat. Because if you use this same JWT secret in production, people can generate fake tokens. And basically, this secret here is used to sign and verify your auth tokens. Oh, thank you. Great typing skills. Wait, is this the... Oh, yeah, that's that CJ compact disc thing. That's nice. You could use a UUID. Typically, what I like to do is just generate some random bytes. So you can do something like this with Node and just generate a bunch of random bytes, grab some of these random bytes and put that in there. Basically, this just needs to be really long and unguessable. Cryptographically secure felines. Because this is the secret that's used to generate tokens. And then when a token comes to the server, this secret is used to validate that secret was the secret used to generate that token that it's validating. So you can set this to anything you want, and it's totally fine that you can see mine. It's not fine that you can see my GitHub secret. I'm just going to revoke this after the stream. But maybe you can only see half of it. But yeah, this JWT secret can be anything you want. It's just used to generate the tokens. GitHub client ID come from GitHub. And then Mongo host is wherever your MongoDB is. Because my app is running inside of a Docker container, I just have the host name of the database. If you are just using Mongo locally, you could set this to localhost. And then, yeah, that's it there. And then somebody asked about how is Docker in operating with this .env file. And also, we technically have the .env package, I believe. Yeah, so you can see that... there is this .env package, which is a node package, which reads in that .env file and puts all of those variables in our environment as environment variables. But Docker Compose automatically reads from that .env file as well. So they're kind of working together. Oh, it's 1 a.m. where you live. Cool. But in my Docker Compose file, you can see that I have this syntax here, which actually reference an environment variable. And Docker Compose will automatically read in and look at this .env file. So technically, this .env file works both with Docker and if I was just using Node.js by itself. And they play nicely. So all of these variables you saw were coming from my .env. And then the other thing to look at is this config folder, because this is where things are defined in JSON. And inside of here, anywhere that has like an all caps name, it'll check to see if there's an environment variable, and then it will actually inject that environment variable into here. So this is actually how Feathers auth gets the JSON web token. And technically, you could put keyboard cat right here. But then if you push this to GitHub, it's technically in your source code. And then they also have a separate production one where you could actually define the secret as coming from like the environment, but I just always use it from an environment variable. Yeah, and you can see like my GitHub client ID and secret, all those are being pulled from my env, and all of these are being pulled from my env as well. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, we have an error status code. Error status code. One thing I should do is I should clear out my DB really quick. To get rid of that user that we created when that route was not protected. I think this is Entropy chat. Oh, I totally forgot. Our MongoDB is running inside of a container. I need to configure Robo3T to connect to my my container database. That'll be fun. Who wants to see that? And Wookie Dancer, thank you for that follow. And Deharika, thank you as well. And Lord Rad, thank you for that. Not fun, really. Yeah, I need to expose the port. So if we look back at our Docker config, let's close that. in our Docker Compose, yeah, it looks like we're not exposing the Mongo port, so we need to do that so that way we can connect to it from Robo3T. I don't have any Redux with TypeScript videos. I did I did TypeScript with Easy Peasy, but not with Redux. Oh yeah, we should do a focus mode. When should we do a focus mode? Right now? I don't know. I guess we'll do it right now. Thank you, DS Legends, for that focus mode. We're going to enable focus mode right now. Docker makes me sad. I mean, sometimes it makes me sad too, but when it works, it's nice. Cool. So, in our Docker Compose file, we need basically a line that looks almost similar to this. And we actually have a variable called Mongo port. So inside of the container, it's Mongo port because it's using that. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the default MongoDB port. The left-hand side here is what port do we want it to be on our machine so that way we can connect to it. And I am going to set it to be something very similar to the to this, but like one off, because I actually have, I'll do like 27018 because I technically have MongoDB running locally on that port. So there's that. And Bogahay, what's up, Bogahay? 3306. Could do that. It is MongoDB though. So I'm going to expose the internal MongoDB port on this port, and then I'll be able to connect to it from my my visual database editor thingy. What is that? Oh, save that. Okay. So I'm going to kill the Docker. There we go, and then just start it right back up. Does anybody know of a better way to do that? I mean, technically, because I edited the Docker Compose, I did have to bring it down, right? Who's pointing what out? Print screen? What is that? Mods, is that okay? What they share, is that okay? Rebuild it, yeah. Okay, so it started again. Now I can try to connect to it. It's okay. Okay, cool. OCD inducing. Oh, because you can see. Is it that? Is it that? I need a new connection. Add. Let's make this smaller. Way smaller. Here we go. So this is a direct connection. This is going to be to the Entropy DB. We technically are on localhost because we mapped that port to our localhost. For authentication, we are going to perform that. The username is in our .env. Oh, thank you, Denny. I appreciate you. In that .env, our username is root, and our password is password. This is okay because we're just running it locally. You would never do this in production. That should do it. Let's go there. Yeah, look at that. So now we're connected, and we can take a look at Entropy chat. And if we take a look at the users collection, users here, there is that fake user with the GitHub ID 123 that we don't want. So I'm going to delete that. Gone. Admin. Awesome. So we got rid of that fake user. That's great. Minimize that for now. Close that. Where are we? I think what we wanted to do is we want to test all of our endpoints as well, because in the last stream we basically added a bunch of hooks to all of our routes. So like on the user service, here, we also added the limit to user. Root, no password. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, technically, okay, I'll fix it. I know that it's like if I if the screen is not black, then you can see it. I'm gonna fix it because it bothers me too. Oh, well, technically it's like down there. I'm gonna fix it. Conrad, thank you for that resub. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, but this should be black. Cool. Cool. Check all the redemptions. Wait, what? Okay, there's a lot of chats. How much is left on focus mode? 4 minutes. How can I chat with you if I'm on full screen? You mean in the mobile app? I think there's a button you can click which slides the chat out. You would be surprised how many production Mongo databases my scanners have found with no authentication. It is ridiculous. I mean, this is honestly one of the reasons I want to get into cybersecurity. Like, I don't like working on legacy apps. It just makes me sad. It makes me sad when I see the things that other developers have done. So instead of building apps, I'll just break apps as somebody in cybersecurity. I don't know, but yes, I mean, you would be surprised how many, like, even in like the C# or the Java world, if you decompile like a DLL, and then there are just like the master database username and passwords embedded in that thing. Dr. Vim, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome everyone. What's the actual purpose of Docker? The main thing is you can wrap up a bunch of configuration about environment and database and multiple things and how they communicate. You wrap all of that up into a single configuration file, and then lots of people can use it. Clap. Yay. I have 3 redemptions. The void is still leaking. Is it? It's gone now. It's gone. Theater mode. Build apps to break apps, yeah. And thanks again, Dr. Vim, for that raid. Welcome, everyone. We are currently working on a thing called Entropy Chat, which is a Discord clone. Right now, we're working on the back end. I'm like a teacher trying to continue class while chat is talking nonsense. Yeah, that's basically what this is. It's like, it's a classroom with hundreds of people, and everyone is vying for my attention, and I'm doing my best to like answer every question and all that. Yeah, banking runs on. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What's the difference between using a UUID and just converting a string into a base 35? So that's what that is doing. That's actually really funny. I mean, your question's not funny, but the fact that you can do that. So basically what's happening here is you're converting this number into base 35. And base 35, basically, I mean, it's 35 different characters that could represent the 35 different characters to represent every digit in a number. So like technically, I mean, you could do base 2 and then you have a big binary string. So that's basically what's happening here. This is just the base 35 representation of this integer, whereas a UUID has the date embedded inside of it. I think in some implementations, in some implementations, the UUID also has machine information embedded inside of it, so that it's very hard to, when it's generated, have a duplicate that gets generated. Yeah. Yes, Entropy. See me. Thank you, Doria. Thank you for that follow. And hello, Infy. Welcome. Do it in base 26. Yeah. The thing is, the lower the base, the more characters you're gonna get. So if we do base 3, base 4. Actually, anything above base 9, no, sorry, above base 10. Base 10 is rounding error. Base 11, then you start to get characters. Yeah, there we go. Or base 13. 36. Well, exactly. Yeah. So dates are predictable, and you could do like a timing attack and if you want to like enumerate things by ID, if you know the time when they were generated, it'd be a lot easier to like brute force. Whereas UUIDs, there are parts of it that are predictable in that it has like a timestamp on it, but there are also parts of it that are random and are not easily guessable. Yeah, that's true. We're technically in focus mode. Oh yeah. And that's one thing, we found this out during a code challenge once, is that you technically can't go above base 36. If you go to base 37, it just breaks. Radix must be between 2 and 36. Yeah, two string, basically that's your radix, is what base you want to convert it to. No idea what you're talking about, but I love it. Cool. Yeah, hex is base 16. So there we go. That's the hex version of that string. I bet you're reading this. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, well, base 0... Is base 0 possible? No, base... It's not, because you need at least 2 characters to be able to represent all the other characters, right? Right? I don't know. Okay, that was a fun diversion. We got the errors hooked up. All right, we actually wanted to test some of these things. So one thing I did was before the break, and actually let me acknowledge these follows. Thank you Diff for that follow, and thank you Dathunda for that follow as well. But what we did is we added this hook, which should limit listing users, getting individual users, updating users, patching and removing users to the user itself. So you cannot get the information about other users. We might have to fix this. We might have to create a custom hook that limits you to listing the users in the server that you're in. But yeah. And thank you, Jim PX. Thank you for that follow. And 14 Spider Pig. Thank you for that follow. So what I wanted to check is if I attempt to make a request for a user that has a different ID. So, and actually, if I make a GET request to users, I should only see myself. Right now, there aren't any other users in my database. But if I attempt to say like users slash some other ID that isn't this ID, like let me just change one value. It says not found. Is this how the limit to user hook works? We need another user in our database, is basically what we need. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to log into a different GitHub account so that way we can get another user in our database. Yeah, so this is my backend, and I'm going to go through the GitHub OAuth flow so that I can put a new user into the database, and then we can check to make sure that I can only list my user. I think it's, yeah, OAuth/GitHub. There we go. Let me sign in real quick. Actually, do I even have another GitHub account? Do I need to create one? Should I? I'm gonna create. I guess I'll create a GitHub account. I'll probably have to like validate my email and all that stuff. Oh, maybe I own this one. Email verification. When? Well, right now we just have GitHub login, so there shouldn't be any email verification. We could implement that though eventually if we. I don't think we're gonna allow like username password login. It's just gonna be social auth. Right, I am busy creating I'm creating a GitHub account really quick so we can test it. Yeah, hello Ben Aaron Dahmer. You got gifted a sub. There's been a lot of gifted subs in the channel lately. I'm doing a thing to make sure that I'm not a robot right now. I have to tilt the animals into the correct orientation. All right, I need to verify my email, so give me a second to do that. I am not a robot. Oh wow, I got a lot of emails. That's pretty ugly, MVKR. All right. Well, while we wait for this email to come in, how's everybody doing? You having a good day? Leak Discord? What? Leak my Discord token? No, I'm not gonna do that. That's good, Alka. So I know, Alka, how did you mod for the entire Live Coders Conf, or just like were you in and out? But I saw that happening. Oh, going fishing tonight. That sounds fun. That's good. It seemed like the chat was behaving for the most part. Oh, there's a mod schedule. Nice. Going fishing. Oh, I totally forgot. Thank you, Wookiee Dancer. It is Father's Day tomorrow. Though I already sent my father a gift. It was my partner's idea. Well, it was her idea to send him a gift, but I figured out what gift we were going to send him. But we sent him pecans because he really likes pecans. So we sent him a tin of like different flavored pecans. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Majestica. Pecans. Cool. Verified my email. That's great. I couldn't even consider. No, it's just like I always forget when it comes to like holidays and stuff like that. Partner? Waifu? What do you mean by that? Yeah, Robin, we have statuses now, so you can do !! set status or ! clear status to set your status. Yeah, and then you can also do badges. Okay, I can show my screen again. But if you click this link, this will tell you all of the different badges you can put next to your name. Not all programming languages are represented, which is unfortunate, but there are a lot of like brands and stuff like that too. So you can basically pick any one of these names. If you do ! team followed by that name, it'll show up in the chat. And then you can also do ! set status. Yeah, so Mishka just did view. Cool. All right. I now have a separate GitHub account. So if I go to localhost 3030 /OAuth/GitHub, it's going to ask me, do I want to allow this? It has access to my public data. I'm going to authorize it. It says W3CJ because the GitHub client secret and the client ID was generated using my W3CJ account. Yeah, it worked. C'est pas un status. I don't, is that French? I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to click authorize. Cool. So we get redirected back. I'm not actually using the Electron app, but because we got redirected back, we actually should be in the database now. So if we take a look at the database, this is not a status. Okay. If we take a look at the database and refresh the users, there's now 2 users in here. We have Coding Garden Test, which is that new GitHub account that I created, and there's also W3CJ. So what we're testing right now is that when I make a request to get all users, and I'm currently authed or logged in as W3CJ, I should not get back Coding Garden Test, and that's a good thing, right? Because I don't want to be able to allow users to list the information about other users. At least for now. We'll create some custom routes for like getting users associated with the server and stuff like that. And then the other thing is if I grab this ID, I shouldn't be able to go to users / that ID because it's not me. Yeah, so it works. It works. And that was because of those hooks that we set up. So limit to user. So now you can only find yourself, you can only update yourself, patch or remove yourself. Cool. Technically, you shouldn't be able to update or patch your GitHub ID, because that would allow users to set them to be other people. There's a lot of security we need to consider here. But I assume in Feathers hooks, there's a way to like remove, prevent changes. Let's look at that. Prevent patch service calls from changing certain fields. Does it work in update too? So here I could pass in GitHub ID. One follow from 8,000 followers. Wait, what? Thank you, Proxin, for that stretch. Wait, did we make it? Oh, we're one away. That's pretty cool. That's a nice number, 7999. I like that number. Thank you, Proxin. Okay. I think this is what we want. Prevent changes. Trash before? The thing is, this just says that it works for patch, not for update. Yeah, we try to keep it English here just so that way we can mod, because we don't all speak other languages. Though, I mean, technically Robin's a mod and they speak Belgian, but, well, not Belgian. Belgian's not a language, is it? What do people speak in Belgium? I'm sorry. I'm ignorant of the world. And hello, Christopher. Thank you for that hydrate. Dutch. Dutch, of course. He speaks Belgian. I speak Belgian according to CJ. Nice. Thanks, Robin. Oh, they speak French? Well, it looks like, yeah, I mean, what the people are saying right now is in French, right? I don't know. I apologize. All right, we have some rewards. Oh, there's a lot. Flyboy, I think we did your stretch, but stretch anyways. Thank you, Proxin, for the hydrate. And Smiley. And Majestic Eye. And Turtle D. And thank you, Ripley. And MVKR for those posture checks. Hydrate. Cheers. Yeah, the only issue with drinking this is it's carbonated, so I can't drink a lot of it. What's up, Chief Mustardo? See, this is why I just write my own hooks. Because I have to now search through the docs to figure out which hook I should use. I don't know if there are still any Feathers people watching. What's up, James Warner? Nice, you got the coding beans. Very cool. Thank you for that follow, Spurs Vixen. This was French. It's actually funny to translate messages. Yeah, so technically, if you send your message in another language and in English, that's allowed. And thank you for the hydrate. What did you miss? Not much, honestly. We got internal only working. We tested that limit to user actually does what it says it does, and it does. And right now, what we're doing is we want to update or fix the update and the patch method for users so that they cannot change their GitHub ID. Because GitHub ID should only be changed internally. Or, I mean, it never changes. It only gets created internally. Yeah, so so the thing is, the word hook in programming can mean a lot of different things. And right now there are hooks in React, and there's the composition API in Vue, which are kind of like hooks. What are the other hooks? Oh, they're web hooks. But in this context, we're working with a framework called Feathers, and it has this idea of hooks, which are functions that can be called before or after a specific service method gets called. So before a user gets created, we make sure that it's only happening internally because we're using GitHub OAuth. It does. Oh, does it? That's kind of true. Yeah, he's got a mustache. Did not follow. What are you trying to do? Oh, this specific thing. So for update and patch, we don't want to allow users to change the GitHub ID property. And we found prevent changes, but it says that this only works for the patch method. We want it to work for the update method as well. And so is there another one I should use for update? That's the question. And thank you, Spioni. Spioni has been giving us some hot Feathers tips today. And thank you, the student doctor, for that posture check. And the stretch. And thank you, Simsim. Yeah, I wish I could too. We don't have JSDoc in here. I think JSDoc is great. What's cool about it is that VS Code can automatically show you that documentation whenever you're like calling functions and stuff. But yeah. No one wants to be the 8,000th follower. Captain Hook. I'm confused with all the hooks, yeah. I mean, and it really is just like a general programming term that means to, maybe to tap into, to insert yourself, right? Is that the same, is that what it means in React? You're tapping into like state changes? Yeah. Oh yeah, we never did anything for 7,331 followers. The thing is, with the recent Kitboga streams, we jumped, like with the first stream, I got 800 followers, and then just yesterday I got like 300 followers, so we might have missed it. I do not love round numbers. Wait, oh, did it happened? Great. My overlay is behind. If is provider external, discard ID. Oh, discard is the one I want then. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much, Spioni. Beautiful. Yeah, the thing is, I just have to familiarize myself with all of these common hooks because I have written a hook that does exactly this. Like, I don't want to allow users to update specific properties in a patch, and so I just wrote that hook. But the fact that it exists like this is pretty awesome. All right, see you later, Ben Aaron Dahmer. Thanks for being here. Good night. Good night. It is a chat-controlled LED thing. Yeah, if you do !LED followed by 8 zeros or 1s, it will turn on the corresponding bit. 2D with RGB, let me know, because I made a library to draw an HTML canvas to LED. Oh, that's pretty sweet. So we used to have this thing hooked up, and we implemented the Connect 4 game on it. So like each of these is the Connect 4 column. But we use this whenever I used to stream on both YouTube and Twitch, and so the game was YouTube versus Twitch. But we need to update the logic so that people in the chat can join either the red or the blue team, and then it'll be a versus with people in the chat. Yeah. So much repeating code. What do you mean? The thing is, like, in my own Feathers app, I have a folder just full of custom hooks that I've written, and I reuse them all over the place. I mean, I should probably create my own. I mean, I guess I shouldn't. I should just use Feathers hooks common, but I basically implemented a ton of these myself. Yeah, I mean, translating internationalization of anything is very hard. It really is. You probably were. Thank you, Spurs Vixen. Number 8,000. Observers. Yeah. I believe it. That's the same thing as a hook, right? Well, in a way. Yeah, because it can listen for when something happens. But in this case, it not only is listening, it can actually prevent things down the line from happening, which I think is a little bit different. Yeah, JSDoc is sweet. It's good to know. Definitely is. Yep, I mean, that's the way to do it. That's what these hook functions are just doing. Yeah. The flag code for France. FR, I think. It should be FR. Observer plus chain of responsibility. Nice. Yeah, there's all kinds of programming. I mean, I guess these are technically like design patterns, right? The exact number of followers. The thing is, Twitch removed it. I think Twitch used to show the full number, but now they're doing the same thing that YouTube is doing, where I think it's down there, it just shortens it. It just says 8K, and then eventually it'll say like 8.1K. I think it's to prevent people from actually caring about the specific number of followers. Yeah, I think it's FR is the 2-letter. I think that hooks are just terrible names. We don't really know where to put it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, so you can still call the Twitch API, and I think my overlay just isn't updating. It potentially caches the API request. Like if I refresh this overlay, it'll probably be up to date. Yeah, there you go. See, that's it. Nice. I like when you land and your nickname is below CJ. Oh, nice. And thank you, Kurian, for that follow. You're the 8,001th follower. All right, let's do this. I don't know who here is new to the coding garden, but this is typically what happens. We get distracted easily. All right, I'm gonna try to implement this from memory. So, well, not from memory, from like using the function names. 8,001st. Claim a domain? I might do that. Okay. So we'll say discard GitHub ID. And this is going to be if is provider I can't do it from memory. If is not, oh, that's weird how that works. 80, So if this is not an external provider, then we are going to discard GitHub ID. Oh, you haven't missed much. Nope. And so this is going to return us a function, but then we should be able to reuse that function in both update and patch, like this. I think that should work. And I'll just double check in my, here, well, if we list users. Server returned nothing. I might have broken it. Oh, I never actually installed Feathers Hook Common. Okay. I wouldn't say it's better than Postman. It's just different. And one of the things I don't like about Postman is they require you to log in now. And I had an account. I forgot the password, but in my local Postman instance, I had like 20 tabs open of all the different API requests that I was testing. And it said, you've been logged out. All I could do is click OK, and then it lost all of my history of all of the things that I was working on. Yeah, so I'm a little salty about Postman. And Insomnia is nice. You don't have to log in. It works pretty much the same way. You have a URL, you can specify your headers and your body and all that stuff. All right, let's install that. And thank you for those followers. MH Distractions. And I Am Matter. Thank you for those follows. And what's up, Verbatim Studios? I love your stream, man. Learned so much. Oh, that's nice. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it is a lot simpler for sure. Okay, so we installed that dependency. We need to rebuild the Docker container because the dependencies have changed and the node modules lives inside of the container, inside of the image. I don't know what the right terminology there is, but rebuild it. Is Insomnia native to Mac? Oh, no, Insomnia is a cross-platform app. It'll work on, I believe, it'll work on Windows and Linux too. All right, spin it back up. Okay. That tells me, because it still has the exact same error, well, for one, let me make sure that it's actually down. And then we did rebuild it, so let's try putting it back up. Just ignore the errors. And it's still complaining about that. Okay, so what that tells me is that what we did earlier in the Docker Compose, this is not working. where I'm saying that node modules should technically be delegated to the container. The way I fixed this recently was this is a volume that exists inside the container but doesn't exist locally. And that should prevent the container from looking at my local node modules folder. No, it is IFF, but right now the error is it cannot find that module. That has to do with... or no, I need to build. Let's build again. That has to do specifically with that thing not being installed. Let's see, is it in here? Feathers hook? Yeah, Feathers hook's common. Did I spell it right? npm run debug my code. Yeah, so it's technically in there. All right, I mean... Should we go back to what I had over here? That it's delegated? I don't know if there are any Docker aficionados in the chat, but what I thought this meant was node modules inside of the container should only exist, and it should use the one that's inside the container, not my local one. Yeah. Electron, everybody says it consumes too much RAM due to Chromium. Yeah, it's true. I think that's the thing. Like, there are a lot of very popular and products that are used by millions of people that are built with Electron. So, yeah. I mean, people can complain all they want, but it works. This is why Docker makes me sad. I think it returns a function, because if we see how they're using it in the docs, they just specified the function there. It should be returning a function so that way I can reuse it. Regardless, that's not the part of the code that's failing. The require is failing. Yeah, the main benefits of Docker and containers are you can take an environment, which is an operating system, all of its dependencies and programs, and also the code for running your program and all of its dependencies. You can take all of that and write one configuration file that defines it, and then that same configuration can be used in multiple places. You can use it locally for development like I'm doing, and it makes it really easy for somebody else to pull this code down, do Docker compose up, and they instantly have MongoDB running, they instantly have a node.js app running. And then for production, we can build these images, push these images to a container registry, and then pull those images down to the production server. So the production server doesn't need to have node.js installed. It doesn't have to do an npm installed. Basically, the whole app itself is in that one little image and container. Yeah, and Discord, they used Electron. Yep. All right, see you later, Parsival. And thank you, Golden Cartel. Thank you very much for that Twitch Prime sub. And NK, thank you for the follow. Delegated is slightly more performant. Okay. Does Spotify use Electron? And thank you, Domi, for the follow. Production. Local persistence. You can just use, I mean, I've just used local storage. But the one thing you have to be careful about is if the app gets, like, updated, potentially local storage could be cleared. So if you're not going to use local storage, then you might use like a flat file database like SQLite or KneeDB. And that way, if the app ever needs to be updated, it can always just read from that file. Yep, VS Code is Electron, Atom is Electron. I mean, I think Atom is where Electron originated. The container runtime's view of the mount is authoritative. Cool. And thank you, Follow, for the follow. If it's session data, then local storage should be fine. Yep. Or you could also use session storage, which means when the app is closed, all of that data will disappear, but it stays as long as the app is open. But session storage exists in the browser. Yeah, so Atom is why Electron exists. Okay. We've waited a few seconds. Let's build. There's nothing to build. Spin it up. Am I setting the work directory in the Docker file? Yes, I am. I'll show you that really quick. But as you can see, Cannot find module feathers hooks common. Okay, I'm gonna kill this. Yeah, I mean, technically that's how it could work. Like if you hosted a Mongo database on an AWS server with a 60 gigabyte hard drive, I mean, probably like 10 or so gigabytes is reserved or used by the operating system. Probably less, but the rest of it, technically, yeah. However, if you're just setting up your own MongoDB server, then you have to manually set up things like backups and potentially manually set up things like scaling. So you should probably use a service like MongoDB Atlas. Yeah. And hello, Wakar. Welcome, welcome. If I didn't find it, doesn't exist. Stream over. I mean, we could double check. So it's in, here's the thing. It's in my package.json. Did I spell it wrong? Feathers, hooks, common. That's it. Okay, it's in my package.json. I'm attempting to use it in my user's hooks right here. All right, that's fine. For now, let's just let's not even use it. Let's just make sure I can actually require it in. Okay. Let's build it. Spin it up. Am I caching node modules based on package lock without updating the package lock? Well, package lock should be updated because when I did an npm install, package lock got updated. And if we look at my Docker file, we first copy the package.json and the package lock. So that Docker layer should have been updated. And we are setting the working directory to user source app. Destroy the package lock. npm CI. I'm not opposed to that. What does npm CI do? Oh, it clears the node modules. Yeah. Well, that broke. Let's take a quick stretch. It nukes your node modules. That's cool. I usually just do an rm-rf. Okay, remove existing node modules before installation. CIPM can only install packages using an existing package lock. Oh, well, I shouldn't have I shouldn't have removed my package lock. I'll just do it manually. So npm I will generate the package lock. Yeah, I shouldn't have deleted the package lock. And thank you, Code Monka. Thank you for that follow. And Productive Brains, thank you for the follow as well. All right. Well, all right, now we're going to do a build. Yeah, apparently there were some updates to that package. I mean, technically the package lock could have just gotten like patch or minor versions of packages that were updated. Thank you, Shrek, for that follow. I have. PNPM is really cool. Instead of copying node.js packages to every single folder, they're symlinked from one location. It's awesome. However, there are certain CLI tools that I had issues with. They might work now. I haven't used it in probably like a year. But it's awesome, and npm should just work this way anyways. But yeah, check it out. It's cool. npm feels faster than pnpm? Really? Or the opposite? Yeah, exactly. So basically, there's one folder on your machine that downloads all of the versions of the different libraries, and then pnpm will symlink them into your node modules folder. Set the working directory before doing the copy. I think I'm doing that. Oh, I do that. So set the working directory before doing the copy package.json. Yeah, I do that. The only thing I do before it is install PM2, which it needs. DevOps Garden, yeah. And thank you, Sledge Dog. 1,000 bits. Wow. Wow. This breadboard, if you type !LED followed by 8 zeros or ones, it will turn on the corresponding bit. Multiple versions of the package. I don't know. Possibly. Thank you for those bits. No idea why that wasn't the standard. I know, right? it's insane. Like I every now and then I'll do a search for node modules on my machine, and it ends up being like 6-7 gigabytes. Sometimes, like one time it was like 30 gigabytes. I don't know. Well, Robin, I could try to help you. The nc command, I'll take a look at that. npm i-g, then npm link. Oh, because it just links it from the global install. That makes sense. Oh, that actually won't work because technically the port is available, but the database isn't ready. I think, because I think we tried that before. Make dir, working dir, copy, run, expose. All right, see you later, VV Michael. Thanks for being here. And Fretzer, thank you for that follow. I think I'm honestly, I think this is just going to work now that it actually rebuilt. Let's see. Okay, here's the thing. It didn't work. But if this were a real job and I was getting paid by the hour, doesn't bother me. But here, I'm not getting paid by the hour. One thing I can do is actually, let's just comment out this mapping of the node modules folder, because then it will actually just use the node modules folder on my machine, which is okay for now. It's okay for now. Yeah, see, look at that. But why doesn't that work? I don't know. But we're gonna keep moving. I tried the GitHub login, but it does not show the user email, even the correct scope. Do I need to make another request to get it? Yeah, you need to make sure that in your OAuth request you include that scope. Wally with the resub. Thank you very much, Wally. And if you make a request with a new scope that wasn't previously authorized, it'll prompt the user to click allow again. Funny. Yeah, no worries. Chat not good for sharing lines of code. It's not. I could have used this, but honestly, we got to keep moving. Because I can't deal with Docker issues all the time. And Zyars, thank you for that hydrate. Yeah, it didn't work. A good configuration for the database. No, I mean, I have like 15 years of experience. I've been doing this a very long time. That's how I know a lot of things. And it just comes from Feathers hooks common is the thing. This just worked. But technically it's using the node modules on my local machine versus inside of the container. But I don't have any good resources for you. I would say if you watch here, you can learn a lot of things. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions for like learning about databases and stuff. Feathers hooks common. Yeah, I just removed it because we didn't have space for the leaderboard on the screen. A huge sprout, nice. Create a Father's Day app. I'd be open to that. I think you need to delete the Docker volume to delete the cache. Right? Will that do that? Back! Databases and stuff is a huge topic. It's very, very huge. Docker, well, I mean, I think System Prune would have gotten rid of it. Oh, there actually are a lot of them. Look at that. Node modules. That's probably it. I think this is it. Thank you, iModder. This is probably why this was broken. Docker volume prune. Just get rid of all the volumes. I don't care. That's fine. Because there aren't even in... What? Why is that running? This is the inventory app. What is the inventory app doing running right now? Wait. Do I have... Oh, yeah. Oh, there's just a backend. Okay. All right, now there are literally no Docker things running on my machine. We got rid of all the volumes. We got rid of all of the the containers that aren't used and stuff like that. I'm gonna put this back, and now it's gonna work thanks to iModder. Docker compose. Well, let's make sure we need to build it. Okay, we're good. Docker compose up. Maybe. I think that worked. Yeah, that worked. We want all your knowledge. Yeah, so there was a gigabyte of, like, container stuff. The inventory app is self-aware. Yeah, it starts itself up. Yeah, but thank you. That did it. I'm curious why Docker compose build. Start on machine boot. Yeah, I think they started up when I restarted Docker desktop. Okay. When I run Docker compose build, it basically, I guess it doesn't actually clear these volumes. Is that the issue? I thought it would. It only builds the image. Okay. Yeah, that was our issue. We had a stale volume. Okay. What were we actually working on? I remember this. So we want to prevent a user from updating their GitHub ID. There's that, and there's that. So when a user makes a update request or a patch request to themselves, they should not be able to edit their GitHub ID. And what I wanted to see really quick, this should actually work now. There we go. Yeah, it's GitHub_ID is what I want to protect. Okay, so, and thank you, Any14 Coffee, for that follow. If I attempt to update the user with this ID, and I want to set the GitHub ID to be 1234, page not found. Well, I don't know if I saw the huge sprout. This should work, right? Was that the ID? What about a patch? Oh, it needs to be a put. Sorry, it needs to be a put. Yeah, there we go. So when I try to do a patch, that is technically an update of a single property. And I also could actually try to do a put. But I think that's going to replace the entire entity, right? Yeah. Oh well, it works. It works. I cannot overwrite the GitHub ID, and that's exactly what we wanted. Whew. We got it. We got it, everyone. GG. Yeah, and then technically, let's actually do this. So technically, an update needs to include I mean, honestly, a user shouldn't even be able to update or patch their info because it's all coming from GitHub anyways. Right? Right? When you do Docker down, only the image and network are detached, but volumes are not. That's good to know. Basically, just, especially if I don't care about those volumes and I'm restarting anyways, just clear them out. Yeah. Honestly, I think these are update and patch are internal only. I think that's what I've decided. All of that work, all of that work to get this working, and I'm not even going to allow you to update or patch yourself because all that data is coming from GitHub OAuth anyways. Well, you can remove yourself. That's okay. All right. But we learned something. What did we learn? We learned that if we if we change things that are in a volume, we have to delete that volume. Cool. And technically, I could use the disallow. Yeah. Did you get the... Yeah, that's what we're working on. Entropy chat. We're working on the back end right now. What's up, Squareblocked? How's it going? All right. What are we doing? We created servers, right? No, we called them communities. Communities. Now, let's think. Are there any other protections that we need on communities? So, disallow external. Yeah, I guess I'll use that. All right. We're not really making much progress today, but I think that's okay. So we wrote our own custom hook here, which prevents external requests. But what we're going to do is we're just going to delete that. This was a learning because we learned about hooks. So we're just going to delete that. And then we're going to use the built-in one from this, the Feathers hooks common. Disallow. And so now, instead of bringing in internal only is disallow external. Yeah, like that. And then that can be used there. And that should work. And so now, actually, if we make a, try to make a patch, provider rest cannot call patch. Disallow. Yeah. Cool. So we actually want to do that same thing in the other files, because that's where I was using my custom hook. Messages is fine. Communities. Oh, that's fine too. All right. What's next? Have I really been live for 2 hours already? That's ridiculous. Okay. And Smiley, thank you for that hydrate. Okay. Yeah, look at that. The thing is, we actually should be able to create communities now. At least the API allows it. Oof, time. So if we make a post request to /communities, we should be able to create a new community. And then I think we need a name, like Coding Garden. And then we also need an icon URL. We should probably set up a unique index so that two communities can't have the same name. Right? I didn't get a new keyboard. It's the same one. If you do ! keyword, you can see what keyboard I have. And if we take a look at the communities model, we said they have a name, an icon URL, and then owner ID is going to be set to the person that actually created it. Actually, I think it's okay to have two communities with the same name, because ultimately they have a unique ID, and ultimately they have a unique owner. We could do like a combined unique where the one user of a certain one community with a name and an owner can't have the same another community with the same name and owner. I don't know. And Deharka is saying, gonna sleep. Thank you so much for the stream. Nice. Thanks for being here. I'll see ya. Thanks. Have a good night. Unique only really matters if you plan to use it for routing. And I don't think I do. Because eventually we're going to allow users to invite other users to a community. And that is just going to be a separate document store that has the user IDs in it. So it's not going to be like by server or community name or anything like that. Will the community name be a stub in the URL? And I don't think it will. Because like if you look at Discord, it has just unique IDs for guilds and stuff like that. All right. See you later, Robin. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Will communities be searchable? I think, let's do this. That's a great question. We will create a property called public. And this is just a Boolean. and it is not required. The default value is false. So by default, you can create a community that is not public, but you can choose to make it public so that other people can just join themselves. But if it's not public, then it's invite only. Yeah. Hello, Bob. Thank you for that follow. Use Discord snowflakes as IDs. Yeah. Actually, didn't snowflakes originate from Twitter? But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Currently, you can get all users with a get, and that's a little sketch. Oh, no, we fixed that. We fixed that. We made it so that limit to user. So whenever you attempt to do a get on users, you only get back yourself. Yeah. And I think we're going to create like a custom service that whenever you go into a specific community, instead of requesting like /users, it's like /server users /ID, and that only returns the users for the server or for the community that you're in. But yeah. Hey, what's up, BA? This is not a Hackintosh. This is a real MacBook. This is JavaScript. We're in the back end with node.js. Although that doesn't work with the front end now. Right. So you cannot list users on the front end for sure. Are we listing users on the front end? Let's see if I broke the front end. We haven't even tested that. Refresh. Oh, it works. I guess because I'm only looking at messages from me, what I probably should do is sign in as the other user and see if it breaks. However, now I'm currently logged in. Wow. I'm currently logged in as... I need to like launch a fresh instance. Yeah, the fake loading is still there. I need to launch a fresh instance of Electron, so that my user isn't cached. Well, because when that pop-up opens, I'm technically still logged in as W3CJ. What are some cool things I can do to start learning to code? I don't know if they're cool, but a really good resource is Free Code Camp. The thing I like about Free Code Camp is they basically have laid out for you your learning path. So if you go into responsive web design, this teaches you all about HTML and CSS and like how to make web pages, how to lay them out, how to style them. And they have lessons embedded on the website and projects that you need to do or that you can do. And then if you go into JavaScript algorithms and data structures, this will teach you the basics of JavaScript programming. And then you learn about debugging and then data structures and all that good stuff. So Free Code Camp is a great resource. But it's also just a good launching off point so that as someone that knows nothing about, I'm not saying you know nothing, but if you are someone that knows absolutely nothing about any of this, this is a good place to see like, oh, these are the things that I need to learn. And then you can find other resources as well, like YouTube tutorials. There's another thing called the Odin Project, which is very similar to Free Code Camp in that it's like a free online curriculum. But those are the places to start, I would say. Just clear local storage. Oh no, because the GitHub cookie is set. I need to clear that. Thank you. Thank you for that posture check. I need app ideas. JavaScript app idea. I would just look at any of these blogs to find inspiration. Oh yeah, Flavio. It's cool, dude. This is really good. If you haven't seen this article, this is like an article that I recommend to a ton of people. Yeah, and then Florin, yeah, definitely check out Florin. He has app ideas as well. Cool. What are we doing? Yeah, I have a computer science degree. I do. And thank you, Tonchek. Thank you for that follow. I need to test that the app actually works with multiple users. That's the main thing that I need to test right now. And this actually should work if I start it up, if I kill the Electron app and then start it up in, yeah, no worries, BA. Thanks for asking. And thank you, ZK bro. Thank you for that follow. I have a million app ideas, but you're going to have to arm wrestle me for them. Nice. I need something that redeems posture check every 1 second. Oh, yeah. Stay strong. Okay. I'm going to close Electron. So that has killed our Electron task. Here, I killed it. But now we're going to do npm run serve. And that is going to start up the app, and we can visit it in a browser instead of in Electron. So if I go here, and I log in, that actually logs me in with GitHub, because I'm already logged in as W3CJ. Yeah, so this is the cool thing about this, is it works in the browser and it also works in Electron. But what I want to do... what, code disease, what are you doing? Stop it. But what I want to do is... I want to log in as the other user so I can attempt to send multiple messages. And I just have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's degree. All right. I think that's the account. Hello, Rasta. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Wait. I don't know what my password is. There we go. So, this is a separate tab. And yes. This is exactly what was mentioned before. Now I can't see any of the messages because I don't have access to that other user. Yeah. So we should probably do a backend hook. Reset password. We should probably do a backend hook that sets the user object. Wow. Yeah. So I think Column is the person that said that this was going to break. We need to fix this. And I'll see you later, Pete. Thanks for being here. If we look at the front end, I think that's making a request to get all the users, right? Look in the store. We look in messages. Users by ID. Yeah. The message service should fetch users internally. And I think that's what should happen, because right now, the way we have it is the front end makes a request to both the user service and the messages service. And I think we did this as just like a quick and dirty, like, get it working. But technically, we should only get messages. We should not be getting users on the front end. And we'll set the user from the back end. No users. We don't have to do that. We'll just do this. Yeah. We're basically going to fix our quick and dirty things that we did last time. We don't need to set the user. And then we just listen for new messages. I think that this should be fine. But now, so it should actually still work for W3CJ, I think. Oh no, because there's no user object. Now we need to set the user object on the back end. Meow. Have I heard of Temple OS? Huh. I haven't heard of it. He went crazy. That's unfortunate. This is what was making me cry earlier. Yeah, I'm fixing it right now. Our column with all the users that have access to the channel, that will come from a separate service where we can limit the users returned for that specific server that the user is in. I know what you're thinking, because right now... Hey. We tried out Kepler. I haven't heard of Kepler. Hello, Feisty Beard. That's a cool name. This is a teaching thing? Johannes Kepler. Kepler Education? Is this it? Is this what you're talking about? Live online classical education. Wait, no, this is religious. I'm gonna have to Google it. DuckDuckGo didn't find it. Well, even the Google search results are bad. Yeah, I haven't heard of it. I don't know what that is. Bruno Simon. All right, I'll look for this. Thank you, DS Legends, for those bits. Kepler. Bruno Simon. Real-time code sharing for your lectures and presentations. Oh, very cool. Install it and then launch it. And then people can go to a URL and like see your editor. Cool. Yeah, I'll bookmark this for later. Yeah, I mean, technically there's VS Code live share, and we've done that before. Just let people join the live share. AgriVenture, thank you very much for that follow. And the posture check. Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. But I didn't know what that had to do with education. All right, we need to fix this now. So basically, we are going to write a custom hook. Are we, though? There's probably one built in that could do it. But what we need to do in the messages service on the back end is after all of the messages have been found, we need to populate the user property of each message. So I'm going to write a custom hook. Follow the white rabbit. I'm going to write a custom hook in the find. So right now I'm in the hooks for messages. After all of the messages have been retrieved, and we should be able to see this in Insomnia. Like if I just make a GET request to messages, this has an array with all of the messages, but what we want to do on the back end is we want to attach a user property to each one of these messages. Mongoose auto-populate. I'm just going to do it manually. This will be fun. I'll show you. So if it was a find, context.result is going to be all of is going to be this object here. So context.result.data is the array of messages. So what I want to do is I want to find all of the unique user IDs in all of these messages, and you want to get the users that have those IDs, and then I want to populate a property on here. Yeah. What is a hook? So a hook isn't specific to JavaScript. It's specific to what I'm using here in Feathers.js. So the language is JavaScript, but the framework I'm using is Feathers, which is a backend framework. And the hook concept that they have are basically functions that can tap into when certain things happen. So right now, you can see that I'm making a request to get all messages. So I send that to my backend, and then my backend responds with the messages. But what I want to do is I want to write a custom function that automatically attaches a user object to each one of these messages. And I'm doing that in a hook because it's happening after the messages happens. That message find happens. And Anwar, thank you for that follow. Property author incoming. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to do it. Like technically, like the naive way. Let's do it the naive way. Okay. Sadly, I kind of have to go because it's already 5:30 my time. I got to start cooking dinner. I've been live for 2 hours. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to write it the naive way to attach the user object. Then I'll write it the more performant way, and then I'm gonna leave. But before I leave, this will be working. Before I leave, we'll be able to send messages as both this user and this user, which is currently broken. In my app, we populate the user property instead of the user's object. I lost the real time, for example, if the user patched his nickname. The thing is, we could still write the client-side code that does that, but you're right. You're right. Okay, so let's go. So the naive way to do this is to iterate over the array, and for every message, we make a request to the database to get that user object, and then we attach it to the message. And technically, this will work. So just watch me. So I'm going to say await promise.all. We'll do context.result.data.map. That's going to give us each message. And then I need to reach into the user's service. So I'll say context.app.service, and we specifically want the user service, and I want to get the specific user that has message.user_id. So that's going to reach into my database, grab the user with that specific ID, and yeah, so each message has a user ID property. And so I can say message, I'll say message.user equals that thing awaited, and we'll make this async. Cool. So just like that, watch me. First try. There we go. So now every single message has a user object, which is great. And that actually should fix the UI. So if I refresh here, and I refresh over here, should work. There we go. So we can see the users there. We can see the users here. And now, if this user says hello, it breaks because we need to attach we need to attach the message to the created we need to attach the user to the created message as well. So quick stretch. But this logic right here, which sets the user, we basically just need to do that after a message is created. So we'll have another hook here. In this case, context.result should be the entire message object, and we're gonna set the user here. Yeah, and I'll show you what's a better way to do this, and I'll tell you why it's bad to do this. Dot result. Okay. Let's fix this. Cool. So when a message is created, we're going to set the user property so that way my UI doesn't break. Looks fine. What do you mean? I'll tell you what I mean. But if I refresh, that message from this user, this other test user, should show up. Yeah, there it is. There's this hello message. And now we should be able to send messages. Yep. And then it appears here too. Wow. And it appears there too. We got to fix the styles. Great. So we are attaching the user object to every single message when we find them, and we're also attaching the user object to any message that gets created. Wow. So Spioni is saying there's a populate or a fast join. Yeah, and so I'm just going to do it by, well, we'll put it to do. To do. Use populate or fast join. And the reason that this is naive is that I am making a database request for every single message, right? So you can see right now that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 messages on the page. So when I refresh this, technically I'm making 11 database queries to get ultimately just 2 different users. So thank you, Donald. Thank you for that follow. The better approach is to first figure out what are the users that I need, request those, and in this case, I need to only make 2 queries, or probably even 1 query, to get those 2 users, and then populate from that. Yeah. I get it after reading it, but this looks advanced at first glance. This is why I do front end. Fast join? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So the reason that this is bad, this will make a DB request for every message. All right, now let's write it the better way, which is first we need to figure out what are all the users that we need to request. And actually for create, this is totally fine, because for create, that's just one message that got created, and then we attach the user object. I'm excited. I'm excited about writing good code. Okay, now what I need is I need a list of all of the unique IDs for all of these messages, right? Because if you look at the response, this message has the user ID 5EC. Wait. Oh, I didn't save it. Yeah, now when I save it, there should be, yeah, there's no user object, but that has that user ID, which is actually the same as that user ID, which is actually the same as that user ID. So I need to find all the unique IDs. So I'll just do this. We'll call this user IDs, and that's going to be context.result.data dot map. We're going to get each message, and we want to grab the message.userid. I mean, technically, we could do a reduce to filter out and only get the unique ones, but we also could just pass this into a set, because that'll automatically remove duplicates. Yeah, that's what aerodynamic is saying, cast them to a set. And so now we have only the unique IDs. And if I log that, we should get an array that has 2 IDs inside of it, the 2 different users. And we'll see that log happen here. So we'll make the request. That didn't work. Somehow, oh, did I grab the wrong property? I think I grabbed the wrong property. Oh no! Yeah, it should be user ID. Let's see. Oh, I think because it's an object ID. It's 2-string it. Watch this. Yeah, there we go. So there's only 2 IDs. The issue with the reason that happened is because this is coming from the Mongoose library, and Mongoose sets the ID to be an object ID, which is like an actual instance of an object. And because we're passing all of those into the set, technically they're all unique. Yeah, so a set, it's similar to a hash table in that, like, a hash table typically has unique keys, and for a set there are no duplicates, but there is no lookup value. Like, a set is basically like an array but with only unique values, whereas a hash set you can, like, look up by key or ID. But I think of them in a similar way. Yeah. And thank you, Raster Crow, for that follow. Okay, so at this point we have all of the unique user IDs. So now I'm going to make one database query to get all users with these IDs. So I'll say users equals await. The same thing, context.app.service users. And I'll show you something nice. One of the cool things about Feathers services is that they support query syntax out of the box, because I'm using the Mongoose adapter. So I'll do a find, and inside of that I'll pass in a query. And on the query, I want where the ID or the underscore ID is in user IDs. So this is one database query that is going to give me back an array of all of the users whose ID was in that array that I passed in. Link with extra steps. So now if we log users, we should actually see an array of all of the unique users instead of just their IDs. So we'll make the request, and there they are. We have Pog. We have W3CJ and Coding Garden Test. One thing you can do, though, is you can turn pagination off. And I think I'll do that for this scenario. I'll say, I think I do paginate false. And that way, instead of getting back, like, total and limit, it'll just give us back an array. He did it! Yeah, there we go. So now we don't have any pagination. We just get back all the users that we need. And technically, I could do, like, a group by. Is that supported? Let's look at the Feathers documentation for querying. Wow. Let's look at the API. There's the common API querying. Yeah, I don't know if there's a group. 3 redemptions. And thank you, Madden Plays, for that follow. Wow. That's a version field. We've sort of figured out what it was before. It's kind of useless. I think there's a way to disable it. Why have you landed in the center so many times, procrastinating with CJ? Yeah, thank you. And thank you for these hydrates. Naptkar. And Spearfox. And I'm Ashari, thank you very much. And Mega, thank you for that follow. Appreciate ya. Changes when you update. So yeah, so it keeps track of changes. Technically, we could use the raw like MongoDB driver and use group by. But that's fine. I think this is good enough. So the good thing about what we've done here is instead of making 20 database requests, we're making a single database request. And now what we need to do is we need to iterate just like we did before. But instead of doing a database request, we just set it to the user that we already have. So we'll say context.result.data.forEach. And then we need to set the user. Now, we'll do it two ways. We'll do it the naive way, which is where we just take this users array and we find where that user, its ID is equal to message.userID. And this should work. But again, now we're searching through an array for every single message. And that's not ideal, but this should work. That should get us there. We should now have a user project property on every thing in the response. Oh, I think it's because I have triple equals. I want single equals because it's that object thing. Well, that didn't work. Find returns 1, right? The database is a Mongo database. Right now it's running inside of a Docker container. Okay, context.result.data for each message. We want to see if the user's ID is equal to message.userID. String? Yeah, that worked. I think again it's this object ID thing where it's actually comparing two object instances which are technically different. I wonder if Mongoose has a way of comparing object IDs. Use dot equals. Yeah, comparing Mongoose ID and strings. So we can bring in object ID from MongoDB. Result.userid.equals. Oh, yeah, this will be better to do. So that way I don't have to do the string thing. So technically I can just do this. Oh, lots of follows. Thank you, everyone. Equals message.userid. Yeah, them darn object IDs. So at this point, user._ID is an object ID instance because it came back from the database here. We're saying, is that equals? Oh, coming from CM Griffin. Great. Thanks for being here. And thank you, Cosmic, for that follow, and CFox, and Dr. Drero. Thanks for being here. All right. See you later, Callum. Yeah, I'm going to end soon, too, so you're not missing too much. Okay. This should work, hopefully. Hopefully it works. Welcome, Ray Coco. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so this works. But the reason that this is a naive solution is naive. Searches the array for every message. A better way to do this, and technically this is big O of m times in. I don't allow image embeds because that could be really bad. There are only a few whitelisted domains. Yeah, you can't embed images. But we have in messages, and for every message, we need to search through the array of length m to find that given user. So yeah, this is not good. What we'll do first is we will construct an object where the keys are the user's ID and the values are the users themselves. So we'll say users by ID. And we'll use a little We'll do that. I think we'll work on stream stuff. I've whitelisted some of the mods' domains. Like Andrew Lane has a CDN, and Alka has a CDN. I've whitelisted those domains. If you have a domain, Infi, I can whitelist it. And thank you, Anto, for that follow. Oh yeah, allow list. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, that's me. See? Wait, like, I don't know. Oh yeah, and Murdoch too, who is a VIP. All right, we're gonna put this into an object where the keys are the IDs and the values are the users. I'm gonna use a reduce for this. You also don't have to do that. You could use a for loop. You could use a for each, but I use a reduce a lot. So the object at that user dot underscore ID is equal to the user itself, and then we need to return that accumulator. So this creates an object where the keys are the user's IDs and the values are the users themselves. And now I can say message.user is equal to users by ID at message.user_ID. Just like that. So this is basically like a hash table lookup, right? This is constant time operation. We can instantly just reach into that. Yeah, actually, this is big O of 1 right here, because the property retrieval is constant, whereas this was big O of in because it had to search the array. Yeah, this find was big O of in. And thank you, Pop Tart Dinosaur. That's a cool name. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, this should work in the same way. But now we did one iteration to group them by ID, and then we set them there. Yeah, no worries, Roadrush. We're on the same page, though. We're thinking about Big O. And it still works. And if we refresh the UI, it should work, too. That. Yeah, it works. All right. I said I was going to go, but I think I want to fix this CSS before I go. This is ugly. Should work. And thank you, Nibble, for that follow as well. And Lariath, thank you for the hydrate. Cheers. All right, how about this? I'm going to push up all of my latest code, and I am leaving it up to you all, the community, to open a pull request. So all of this code is open source. If you do !entropy, you can get a link to the GitHub repo. But you can make a pull request, which makes this look a little bit better. Instead of having like this weird overflow scroll, it'll actually appear in the right way and all that good stuff. I'm leaving it up to you. Yeah, and that's a good question, Andreas. But it's not. So what's happening here is, and hello, Andreas. But what happens here is for every single message in the array, and let's say we have, in this case, we have like 10 messages. So for every message, it will actually search through the array of users to find the one that has the same user ID. And so basically this find has to run for every single message. And find is potentially, like in the worst case, big O of n, because that user is possibly at the end of the array. So this runs for every single message. Whereas the opposite is we do a single iteration of the users. So that's one iteration of the users to create basically this hash lookup. It's an object where the keys are the IDs and the values are the user. We do one iteration to create that. And then this right here is constant time lookup. It doesn't have to search through the array. It just plucks out that user by ID. So that's the main difference. This searches the array for every single message. This just literally grabs that specific user because object lookups are like hash lookups. 7 weeks from now. No, it's a good question because it's a common. A lot of JavaScript developers have this like misconception, and I see this in a ton of front end code. Like you're writing a React app, and there's like these embedded finds all over the place, and you're wondering why your component updates are really slow. It's because of this, because you have a bunch of nested loops. Like they're basically hidden nested loops, because a lot of people don't think about the fact that a find is technically like a loop, an iteration over an array. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you everyone for watching. I really, really appreciate you. We got a little bit done today. We technically did create services for communities. I'm not going to fix the CSS. I'm leaving that CSS fix up to you, the user. And Mootlock, thank you very much for that hydrate. Technically, we didn't get a lot of visual things done today. Stop it. But we did create a community service. Community service. We did get all of our hooks set up and ready to go, and started to like protect routes. So that's a good thing. We got some work done. It's not totally visual. Like the next step is to actually show the servers on the left-hand side, allow users to create servers, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's currently not live. You can't currently log in or anything like that. Feathers uses Express internally, so I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Oh, what's up, Mary Jo? Welcome, welcome. I'm just about to end, but thanks for being here. Everyone should check out Mary Jo. She's a member of our Live Coders team. I learned something today, so it's not a lost day. Well, that's good. What's the difference between .filter and .find? So .filter returns an array. It returns an array where every element matches the condition. So if we look in my example, here, if I were to do a .filter, technically we would get an array of length 1 because there's only one user that matches that user ID. If you were filtering for something else, you could end up with an array that has multiple things inside of it. Find returns the first thing that matches the condition here. So that's the main difference. Filter returns an array where anything matches. Find returns that first thing that matches. Hello, hello. How can I set this up locally? If you look at the GitHub repo, there is a there's some description in the README. So that will get you set up there, and there's also a Docker container for the backend. So technically, you could, not technically, you can. Like you are capable of doing this. Go into the server folder, do Docker compose up, and that will start up the backend instantly for you. And Toaster, thank you for that follow. Yeah, there's so much front end. Yeah. It's exactly. Yeah. So if you know that there's only going to be one result, use a find instead of a filter with the first index. Yeah. All right. We are going to raid someone, so let's get those raid messages ready. !raid in the chat will get you the link. But if you are a sub, this is your raid message. And if you are not a sub, this is your raid message, which is equally as good. It's emotes. It looks very similar. Yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. Yeah, you're welcome. The next stream is scheduled for Monday morning. I don't know what we're going to do, but it'll be fun. And I hope to see you there. Who followed? Zachary, thank you for that follow. All right. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for all the supports. We got resubs from Necros and Conrad and Wally Wally. I've been anxiously awaiting Entropy chat. Yeah, thanks for being here, Wally. And that Twitch Prime sub from Golden, bits from Callum and Sledge Dog and DS Legends. I appreciate you all. Yeah, stick around for the raid. Actually, we're going to postpone it like another minute because my mouse thing has stopped working. If you give me just a second. That was anticlimactic, right? Give me a second. Yeah, you're welcome, Loco. Thanks for being here. And Monkasim, thanks for that follow. Okay, this. There we go. Alrighty, everyone. If you followed, I appreciate you. You're going to see your name in the credits at the end. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.